This screencast goes over the reading for Jefferson's first inaugural address. The reason why I really wanted us to take a look at this today, guys, is that we are examining what happened after Jefferson gained office. Now, if you've done your reading the past couple days, you should know that the world was very different, and that this election had some pretty intense campaigning. In fact, each side thought America was not going to exist in the same manner if the other side was elected. So this reading gives us a little more insight into what the world was like at that time. Pay attention as I read this, and then later go on and attack your primary source activity. Introduction. Thomas Jefferson's first inaugural address celebrated the most important election ever held in the history of the world. Jefferson believed that election was as consequential as the Declaration of Independence, for it marked the first time in modern history that a government surrendered its power via popular election. Ballots replaced bullets. The party voted out of office left voluntarily and was not persecuted. The address applies the principles of American founding to the momentous occasion of presidential election, and interprets how those principles in a sketch of the limited political philosophy of the Democratic-Republican Party. Thomas Jefferson's speech marks the completion of one of the most dramatic periods in American history, the 1790s, when the threat of civil war arose over competing versions of the federal government. Jeffersonian mobocrats competed with Hamiltonian Federalist monocrats, as each side castigated, which means made fun of, the other over the power of the federal government and the French Revolution, which we read about in our last section. The Democratic-Republican Party would go on to be established as the world's oldest continuous political party, coming to be known as the Democrats. You should be familiar with that. From Jefferson through Abraham Lincoln, all but two elected presidents were Democrats. Despite the bitterness of the campaign, Jefferson points to common underlying principles and a loyalty that transcends partisanship, these parties. Every difference of opinion is not a difference of principle. We have called by different names brethren of the same principle. We are all Republicans, we are all Federalists. Whatever their differences, both parties are loyal to the same Constitution and its principles, though they may interpret and apply them differently. All, too, will bear in mind this sacred principle, that through the will of the majority is in all cases to prevail. That will to be rightful must be reasonable, that the minority possess their equal rights, which equal law must protect, and to violate would be oppression. Jefferson praised a minimal federal government, one that restrained men from injuring one another, and left them free to lead their lives. The sum of good government is a modest goal that can fulfill human happiness, which lies principally in the work of individual citizens. These patriots give this nation, the world's best hope, the strongest government on earth. But Jefferson did not deny to the general government its whole constitutional vigor, which he would later show in making the Louisiana Purchase. He avowed a federalism affirming state governments in all their rights as a shield against anti-republican tendencies, and the federal government in its whole constitutional vigor as the sheet anchor of our peace at home and safety abroad. In all its tensions and partisanship, Jefferson's first inaugural address blends the glorious American past of Washington and other heroes into his party's tenets. By making his party's victory a victory for America, the speech sets the standard for inaugural addresses and for great partisan speeches. Now you're going to go ahead and move on to the primary source activity. Please remember to take your time.